Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to DCS World 2.9.7 and Eagle Dynamics CH-47F Chinook module. Welcome to a quick video all about sling loading cargo. Last week I demonstrated how to load cargo internally, and this is the method that you can use for loading cargo externally on the Chinook. Now, it has 3 hooks on the underside of the helicopter which can be used for slinging cargo. At the present time, only the middle hook is actually implemented. However, in the future, we will get additional hooks. Something that I'm going to show very quickly, because it was a problem in the last video, you can actually turn off that ADF. It's the second row of push pins, and it's the third from the left. It's this one here. If we right click, it's the one labelled ADF. We can pull that pin and get rid of the ADF, sound. Although we still have, is that TACAN we're getting as well? Let's see. I'll pull the VOR ILS as well. Okay, so that's all of those pulled, so we should get far fewer beeps and boops at this stage. Next thing I'm going to do is show you how to get ready to make use of your hook. If we look at the overhead here, you'll see that we have an area of the control panel labelled cargo hook. We have the master switch here, which has positions for off and armed and reset. We're going to leave it in off initially. However, before we hook the cargo, this needs to be armed, and we need to select which hook we're going to make use of. In our case, we're just going to leave it in the all position because we only have one hook functional at this time. We also want to make sure that the emergency hook release is not engaged and it's covered. We then want to make sure that we set up some controls, because there are a couple of controls we're going to need. We've got the hook release push button, but we also need a mechanism for opening and closing the cover on that switch. These are both physically on the pilot's cyclic control, and we can actually see the status of it if we look down at the cyclic. So there it is. You see hook release. If I hit my button to pull that up, that's us ready to make use of the button, and then if I was to press the release button, it would release the cargo. However, that will only work if the master switch is in armed. So this is basically arming up the entire system. And as we're about to go and pick up some cargo, I'll now put this into armed. So what you would normally do is, once you've got something hooked and you're at a safe altitude and you're en route to where you're going to drop it off, you then put this into off so that there's no way you can inadvertently drop the cargo. But anyway, because we're about to hook up, we'll go into armed position now. In this situation, you want it armed, in the event that something terrible happens with the cargo and you need to very quickly drop it, rather than have your helicopter end up getting pulled to the ground, or, you know, say that you're accidentally, the thing that you're trying to pick up is accidentally somehow tethered to the ground. Rather than slamming your helicopter off the ground, you would very quickly hit that hook release and get yourself out of trouble. So, just as in the previous mission, I've got some ammo crates and I've got some barrels beside me here. I'm going to actually take off and fly a short distance away, and we'll then use the radio menu to select the cargo that we're going to pick up. So just a little bit of power lever, and we'll move a short distance away. We're going to want to be around about 35 feet when we're doing this stuff, so we don't want to be too high. And I'm now going to go ahead and bring up my comms menu. I'm going to go to all cargoes. Let's just give it a bit more power lever before I slam myself into the ground. I'm going to choose one of the barrels. That's done. I'm now going to press right control, right shift and P, and I will now get the external cargo indicator at the top right hand side of my screen. And you'll see that we have a filled red circle. You also see that we have red smoke showing us the location of our cargo. But we have a filled red circle showing us relative position. And then we have the unfilled circle on the right showing us altitude above the cargo. When that's around about the middle of the display, that's us at about 35 feet, which would be correct for hooking operations. And we don't actually have to do the hooking, the Loadmaster will do that for us. So we just need to fly close to the cargo, hold for just a second or two, and it will all be done for us. Let's see if I can do this. And we'll get some voice commands when we get closer. In position. We're hooked. Let's go to the external. You can see there is now a wire taking the tension. I should have lifted it straight up Oh, there you go. See, I dragged it a short distance, and it is now damaged slightly. And I also damaged one of the other cargoes as well. That's very unfortunate. So, okay, that wasn't perfect, but we got the job done. We're at a nice height now, so we're now going to go cargo hook off, so that we're not going to drop it by accident. And let's get ourselves a short distance away. And yeah, we're going to get a bunch of these warnings that it's swinging. But once we stabilise a little bit, it should stop. Right, I was going a bit extreme there. And you want to be a little bit careful in your turns, especially if the load is heavy. Luckily in this case, this load's only 1,000 pounds, so it's not particularly heavy, at least not for us. So, I'm going to bring it around here. I'm going to find a place to set it down. This is quite bad procedure that I'm using here, but anyway. And we're going to get it back on the ground, and we're going to drop it off. Now, you could, of course, just land the helicopter and then unhook it, but of course the great thing about sling loads is that you can detach them while you're in the air. So you can remain in a hover with the sling loaded cargo on the ground and just detach the hook. So as we're approaching the area that we're going to use, I'm going to go ahead and go armed again on that hook, and at this time I'm also going to flip up the hook release. It's done. And hopefully I don't end up dragging the cargo again like the fool that I am. Let's see if we can get the helicopter into some kind of a hover now. So we're just going to choose a nice little location in the field up ahead. Let's see if we can actually lose some altitude. Okay, we're coming down now. Let's get ourselves back down to a sensible altitude. And keep our forward speed nice and low. It's not looking too bad. Coming down a bit fast. Let's give it a bit more power lever. We're now slipping. Helicopter is quite easy to fly for the most part, so these kinds of operations are not too good. Not too bad, sorry. My loadmaster should let me know once the load is on the ground, but we're now getting nice and low. It should be on the ground soon. Actually going backwards a little. 10 to the ground.
3 on the ground. Release.
Right, I've pulled the release. Cargo's on the ground, and I can now leave. I did damage it again a little bit, but I don't think I've destroyed the cargo in this instance, which is good. Okay, I can recover my hook release. Done. System back into disarmed, and the warning that we had, aft hook open, forward hook open, we can now actually just flip this to the reset and then off, and those warnings are now gone. The hooks are back in their default configuration, and away we go. So, nice and simple. That's the entire procedure for sling loading and dropping something off. Obviously, you should actually lift the cargo straight up, unlike what I did, but the procedure is kind of as demonstrated otherwise. Okay, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like to further support me and the channel, you have the option of joining Deephack's ground crew. For a small monthly fee, not much more than a cup of coffee, you can help me in creating this content. I really appreciate those of you who've already done so. There's a few small benefits if you do so. You get to join the Deep Hacks Ground Crew Discord server, where we can all hang out and chat, and also I occasionally do flights together. I've also started uploading some of the mission files as well. And of course, apart from that, you just know that you're helping me out. But otherwise, everybody should subscribe, like, and comment. And thank you all so very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.